Okay, so we are going to go up and try to finish the chapter of Punpara in the Great Southern Labyrinth, chapter 1, which last attempt was unfortunately sort of interrupted. It was a good visit, we had good company, unexpectedly, which was cool, but I do want to try to finish this chapter today. Being as we are sort of interrupted, I don't know yet whether I still am going to do the 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock stream where we do the other game more lightheartedly, which was the initial plan for today. I don't know if we're going to do that. It'll probably sort of depend on how I feel after finishing this chapter. I may go on to chapter 2, although I'm probably leaning against doing that. I may put up some crazy party. I can do whatever people feel like doing. So I'll get to the end of this chapter and then kind of see where people are, what they're feeling, and then we can do whatever. But yeah, so pretty good first start, I think. And I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes. So I have been told that I apparently fluctuate in volume a little bit. I'm going to try to be much better about like consistently looking at my mic. Let me actually lower myself a little bit closer to the mic level. I don't know. If anybody can tell me if that's any better, that'd be great. Let me actually pull up my, let me pull up my, oh wait, I don't think I turned off desktop audio, did I? Let's do that first. I need to do a, either a written up guide or a, recording of how to set up OBS, because I know a bunch of blind people who probably would like to do that. Okay, desktop audio is in fact muted. Good. But I have not. I need to either record one or write one up, and haven't done that yet. Brandon Cole and I had briefly talked about it, and so one of us will probably end up doing that. This super blind man, he does other streams of games that are very cool. His first one, sorry, fiddling with the mic. His first one was a blind playthrough of Final Fantasy X, which is also one of my favorite games. I do recommend his channel if you are looking for other cool people to follow who do similar things to what I do a little bit. He does more traditional games, whereas I'm doing more text-based games, but we do kind of, he did one of the choice of games. I think he did choice of magics a while back, and then I think he's going to do more of them, but has not yet done so to my knowledge. And then I might dip into more traditional games at various points as well. So yeah, kind of cool. Let me find... let's try to notify people that we are doing things. Okay. Okay, let's pop out the stats so I can quickly glance at that. Oh, there are 2 viewers. Yay. Thank you, both of you. Can someone tell me if my audio is any better this time? I'm trying to be both closer to the mic and also looking better, like being better about like looking at it. If someone could just tell me if the audio is improved, in fact, or not, before we actually get started, that'd be cool. I did start posting these on my YouTube channel. I don't know what the URL is at the moment offhand. I'll find it at some point and put it in the chat. I do recommend, just because I recognize that I talk a little bit slowly, I do recommend speeding those up, and which you can do on YouTube by going to more actions if you're on iOS. Okay, cool. The audio is apparently improved. Thank you for telling me that. So if you go to more actions on iOS, you can change the speech rate. You can also do it on Windows. I think the process is similar. You want to have forms mode on if you use JAWS or NVDA. Click on more actions, arrow down to playback speed, press right arrow, and personally, I think 1.5 or 1.75 is probably ideal for me. But yeah, I recognize I talk a little bit slowly, so I do get if you want to speed that up. Unfortunately, you cannot do so on the Twitch stream because that is live, obviously. But yeah. Okay. So we learned that our character is kind of frail. They have a little bit of issues with excuse me. Oh man, that's attractive. Excuse me. Okay, let's try that again. So our character is basically the child of these two heroes who have basically been a part of saving the world, and now like retired to this village and raised you. Your father unfortunately passed away. His name was Pan, and your mother's name is Para, hence the name of the game, Panpara. That's your one of your names. We'll learn a little bit more about that in just a moment. You have been basically raised to young adulthood, possibly early adulthood, in relative peace, and in that time you have made friends with Grandpit, who is one of the trolls, which is a race known as the servitor races. We don't entirely know why yet. We know that someone named Haritha, I think her name was, used an axe to control trolls and other sort of don't we all want to speed up reality? I mean, I think there's substances for that, but I can't endorse them, so you'll have to find those on your own. Yeah, so she has made friends with this troll and doesn't really take the warnings against them very seriously. The troll basically saved their life at one point, because they basically collapsed right outside their house, apparently. And the troll rescued them and took them to the ruins of this impossible empire. And both of you were very fascinated by the relics of this empire. I'm doing the thing where I spin my chair and don't look at the mic again. Let's not do that. It's bad. So you share a fascination for these relics, and you try to learn about it and piece these things together. So we are currently at the place where we must choose which mosaic was the first to fascinate us. But before we do that, we're going to look back at what the Impossible Empire is and what we know about it. So let's find my game window here. All right. So, most of what you know from the Impossible Empire, you've pieced together with Grandpit, working together to glean clues from the ruins or to learn from scholars and philosophers. Rising from the ashes of the world's near destruction, the Impossible Empire began a millennium and a half ago as a philosophical academy far to the north. when these philosophers learned to access the Oraculum, which is the vast machine powered by the labor of dark gods and damned souls that maintains the world, they unlocked the power of true philosophy. They used this true philosophy to travel instantaneously, cure disease, and to build towering cities. The impossible empire flourished. But some dreamed of more. They wanted to repair the damaged world or escape it. 700 years ago, ambitious philosophers nearly freed the dark gods while meddling in the Oraculum. When the prisoners tried to escape, the heavenly gods reacted with fury. They re-imprisoned the dark gods and damned souls. Then they permitted Akamon, the god of destruction, a minute on the surface. So 1 minute on the surface. In that time, he utterly annihilated the impossible empire. So this is a pretty big deal. You and Grompitt have pieced all these things together, which is another sort of link in the strength of the friendship and the bond that you guys share, in a way that like no one else that you know really does. We definitely learned that they are using the word philosophy and philosophical a little bit differently perhaps than we do. I think it may hold some similar connotations, but also be a little bit more oriented towards dark magic and possibly experimentation into those forces. But I'm not entirely sure that that's accurate, but that's what I perceive it to mean. So this world is basically seems to be ruled by a machine that is fueled by damned souls and dark gods. So that's a power level that is out there. So, I mean, so far you're a kid who's been growing up in this very, very peaceful civilization. And I mean, like, your parents were really powerful. And your parents' friends were really powerful. And that's sort of this age. And then, like, you've learned recently, fairly recently, that like 700 years ago, and probably still to some degree active, there's a whole nother level of power here, such that one god released on the surface for 1 minute was able to annihilate this huge destructive potential, this empire that had already accomplished incredible things, perhaps terrifying things even. So we learned that some of the philosophers of the dark, of the impossible empire, wanted to repair the world or escape it. So possibly implying that there are other realms, possibly other universes that one can travel to. I'm not really sure where they hoped to go. Maybe they just wanted to go anywhere else. I don't know. But there definitely does seem to be the implication that like even this already hugely powerful world has corollaries that are even more powerful, perhaps. So we're just a kid, and we're kind of tossed in the middle of these really big cosmic forces. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. So now we get to choose what exactly of the ancient mosaics of the impossible empire we were most fascinated by as a child. So the choices are a heroic general. I could see her glorious bearing and how she taught her soldiers to fight with swords and spears. A physician treating a wounded man. She held strange medical devices, one in each hand. The ships and how they tied their lines. The artist drew each finger, and I could follow each gesture and movement. Or mountain hermits worshipping the heavenly gods. Their resolve showed on their faces, and their traditional piety in the tools that they held. I think we have already established that this character has a bit of a fascination with mechanics and engineering, that we have earned from our father in the limited time that we had with him. So I'm going to go with the ships and how they tied their lines. I think that makes sense with what we have already established. All right. So let's see if there's anything in the chat. Why were they outside your house to find you? The troll. Yeah, I wondered that too, actually. I think it's sort of implied to be a coincidence, but it's also, it's definitely seemed a little bit sinister. I'm not sure if that was intentional or if that was just sort of happened to be where they were, because they are traders and peddlers, and there was a storm coming. So I mean, it kind of makes sense that they could maybe be like peddling and happen to find you, not knowing that like your mom wasn't there. She was out like trying to save the chieftain or whatever. But I don't know. It's also possible that like they straight up knew who you were and whose kid you were and were waiting for you. So we don't know. Philosophy doesn't work that way. Well, that's definitely the hope. I hope that. I mean, I took a philosophy class in college. It was really, well, it was incredibly interesting or just incredibly boring, depending on the day. We definitely did not open any parallel universes in my philosophy class. Maybe it was community college, and maybe that's what they did at university. I don't know. Creeper, maybe, possibly. I hope not, because I kind of like Grumpet personally, so I hope not, but entirely possible. All right. Where's my phone? So yeah, we're gonna go with the ships and how they tied their lines for the mechanical stuff. Okay. Yes, you saw right away the truth, Panpara. But then the truth behind the truth, Grumpet says. The vessels, they were impossible. Some had no sails, or too many, or no oars, or oars for walking on land. But the rules, they were the same. Even as a child, you grasped the principles. The principles of knotwork were the same for the impossible empire's sailing vessels as those for the pine tribes. The mosaics of the impossible empire could teach you almost as much as your father could about boats and lines. And more than that, they showed you how to move swiftly and cleanly. And you began your study. Or you begun your study. Anyway. You turn to look at Grumpet. The troll stands on an irregularly shaped pillar covered in intricate, incomprehensible knotwork. The substance of the pillar is neither metal nor stone. Grumpet is an old troll, his hairy body gray all over. The muzzle of his little vulpine face almost white, though his teeth and eyes are still sharp. Like all trolls, he is small and fast and fragile seeming, with little backward curving horns. Oh, he sounds kind of cute. In a weird way. Trinkets for sale clatter on his wide belt. So yeah, we learned that they went from being the enemies of these people to trader and peddler the trolls did. So, or at least this family of trolls did. It is hard to imagine these creatures in their teeming thousands, armed with spears of fire-blackened wood, standing fearlessly against your parents and the other heroes of the Behemoth War. Yet, there is something different about Gromphit this year. His eyes seem fever bright, his expression wild. His lips curl involuntarily back in a snarl as if he has seen something terrible. He looks afraid. You have never known the jolly, contented old peddler to show a trace of fear. Even when haggling with your mother, and everyone is afraid of her. So now we have choices as to how to talk to our old friend Gromphit. So we could ask him, Gromphit, what troubles you? Let us take counsel together. We have always been honest and patient with one another. Or we could say, the servitor races should know better. By the golden words of Amiria, tell me why you act this way. Or we could say, I bare my teeth right back. Gromphit is my elder, and I should honor him, but I will not be threatened. Yeah, I think because she has shared a lot with this troll, I don't think she would be, commanding at him in that way. And I don't think she really sees him as an elder. I think she kind of sees him is a little bit unaware of the difference between their stations, maybe. I mean, I don't think she thinks of him as, like, being her age, but I think she definitely is a little bit, unaware of some of the important differences between them. So, she's going to be nice to him and basically be like, what's wrong? Yes, I do pick the one that lets me learn knots. That is true. Okay. So, oops. Let's choose the correct option here. All right. Excuse me, goodness. I don't know why that's frustrating. Well, I do know why. It's because I haven't really talked prolongedly for hours on end before. But whatever. I'll get used to it. The gleam of madness in Gromphit's eye vanishes as soon as he sees your worried look. Or expression. Worried expression. I'm sorry, Panpara, he says. Long journey. Just a long journey between cities. Making the great circle my family makes. I lost many sons of sons. There is nothing else. There is something else. And you think that you could wait for this message alert to disappear. I apologize. I should really go on Do Not Disturb. You think that you could get Gromphit to open up with enough time and some kind words. But the old troll says, I'm still calling you by your little child name. And you are a person grown, are you not? What are you called now? So now we can choose our name. Our choices are Borin, Borinn, or Borin, I'm not sure if it's Tessumin, Tesumin, Shol, Shol, Mirabel, Miobel, Miobel. Or I did not choose one of the old forest tribe names. I wonder, in the first option, you were able to choose which kingdom you originated from. I don't know if that actually affects your name. That'd be really interesting to find out at some point. I'm gonna go with Mirabelle, or Maya Bell, because I like it better than the other options, and I want to choose a culturally appropriate name here. It's a role-playing game. Let's actually play it correctly. Okay. Yay! So we can now stop calling them my character or whatever else. They actually have a name now. Okay. Miabel, Grumpet says, I like it. It's a good name for scholar. Trolls, of course, must earn their names. I am called Grumpet because then the old troll's muzzle twitches, and his lips peel back again as if he smells carrion. He looks around, but there are only the ruins. Crows suddenly take flight and rise, cawing before they disappear over the eastern hills. Have you seen anything in these woods, Panpara? The troll asks. His expression is vague and unfocused. There are many strange things in these woods. Grumpet is thinking of something in particular, but you do not know what. So your options here are maybe I can try clever leading questions. I have noticed some odd things. Do you mean the noises? Or I'll try something new. The stoic techniques of the Erathonian sophists. Tell me about this worry you have. Is it a problem we can solve now or not? Or I fear Grumpet has stumbled into something unholy. In the name of Yoon and Phi, shake off this terror, old friend. So Yoon and Phi are two of the two of the gods of your people. We will learn a little bit more about them later. Or Grumpet seems so frail right now. I need to get him off that ruin before he hurts himself. So again, I think she thinks of herself as clever, so I think she will try the first option. Do you mean the noises? We learned that trolls do not get their names upon coming of age, as people in this society do. We do not know how they actually do earn their names. I hope we find out, because that's also interesting. Let me see if that was a failure of... Okay, no, we have not lost the stream, so I don't know why it's... I don't know why it keeps making an error noise. Whatever. Okay. Yes, the voices, Grumpet howls. There are things in the woods, and they whisper to one another, and to their mistress. The witch is awakening. I think they are calling me, telling me to renew the ancient war. Which ancient war? You can name quite a few, including the Sun and Moon War, and the one your parents fought in. So, this is not a peaceful society. There are apparently quite a few ancient wars. But before you can learn more, Grumpet howls again, his voice like a wild animal's. Then he leaps off the ruin like a far younger troll and scampers madly into the woods. Yeah, so that's not good. I assume that by the witch or mistress here they mean Haritha, who, as we know, had cast a death curse and also was the previous bearer of the dark axe Ron, with which she controlled the servitor races. Yikes. So, that sounds like it'll be a problem. So our choices here are: I call after him, confident that my commanding tone will stop Grumpet in his tracks. I think we have already established that she does not see herself as particularly dominant towards him, or particularly like she doesn't see that there's like a power differential in the way that they relate particularly, so I don't think she would use that. So I sprint through the woods after him using all my speed and athletic training. I can outrun Grumpet, then take him by surprise, which we have established that she has inherited a lot of quickness and agility from her mother to some degree, so we may do that. I'll look at the stats again actually before we make that choice. I listen carefully to Grumpet's crashing flight and follow his trail, then reach him using old paths the troll does not know. Or, oh, okay, those are the options. So let's have a look at the stats. Our name is Mayabel. We are swift in grace. We are well-mannered. Average, let's see, resolve, wisdom, and our might is feeble. We are a competent artisan, a competent burglar, and a competent mariner. We are 45% commanding, and we have 55% counsel. So these, as I mentioned before, are opposing stats, which means that they are on a slider. As one goes up, the other will go down, which makes sense because the only character that we have interacted with really at this point is Grumpet, with whom we do not particularly have or see ourselves as having a power differential. That is unfortunate in the way our stats are at the moment, but we hope may be able to fix it later. We are 47% honest and 53% likely to use trickery, or not likely, but like that's how that stat is. We are both 50% merciful and wrathful, which makes sense because we haven't really done anything particularly either one of those things. We are 48% for innovation and 52% likely for tradition. I expect that will probably change. So I think, yeah, it does make sense for us to use agility here. Okay. You run, and suddenly you're running more swiftly than you ever have before. Swifter than your mother ever managed across the western desert to confront Haritha. Your sandals sink into the cold, muddy ground, but nothing can hold you. Nothing can slow you down. So that's pretty neat. A crevasse looms up before you, and you leap, clear the distance, then race down a scree-covered slope. I'm not sure what that actually means, but okay, cool. Right in front of Grumpet. The troll screams and backs away, swatting at the air with his little black claws. He's clearly humbled by your speed and cleverness, and he babbles in his native language, then shouts something in yours, though you still do not understand. We did not take her. Philosophy took her. So that's what he babbles. Okay. But then his eyes grow bestial again, and he dives away from you, vanishing into another slope. He wriggles into a burrow, leaping. His cheap tools and trade goods, or leaving his cheap tools and trade goods behind, and vanishes. So, yeah, that's not good. He is abandoning basically the tools of civilization and seems to be reverting to a bestial sort of form, and we don't know why. You examine the burrow, but you could never fit. You catch your breath, aware that you have learned something in this. You have learned something in this pursuit. You feel that you have learned something about the hunter, something mere foot races as a child could never have taught you. But you were not swift enough to catch Grumpet, and now who knows where he has gone. Yeah, I don't know. So that's a problem. The last of the light fades in the west, turning the trees black and the sky purple red. You retrieve Gronpit's scattered trinkets, wrapping them carefully in your shroud, then find the road and head back towards Hedge before the first stars appear. People call to you, their voices polite and friendly, but you pay them no mind. The words echo in your mind. We did not take her. Philosophy took her. A witch in the woods. An old friend driven to distraction, perhaps madness. Even you feel it. Some change in the air. The night winds are bitter, and you know this spring will not be like the others. Dun dun dun. So that is the end of that chapter. Yeah. That's I'm concerned about Grumpet. I rather like him. I'm definitely concerned about this philosophy business. And I definitely think that him leaving behind like trade goods is definitely not a good sign. Although I love that she picks them up. That's sweet. He's on dope. Well, I mean, my grandmother would certainly say so, since clearly, that is the only reason that anyone can ever act erratically. So, So that is the first chapter of this book. We now have quite a lot of changes on the stat screen. Before we actually get into the next chapter, let's have a look at Actually, let's look at the achievements first. I don't know that we managed to earn any in this first... Oh, we did. We have unlocked 1 out of 18 possible achievements. Earning a score of 10 out of a possible 500 points. Go us. I don't know what we unlocked. Let's see. The Scion of Heroes keeps Hedge safe and your mother alive. I believe that achievement was actually earned in a different playthrough of this game. Or, as I mentioned before, I played this game up to chapter 4 previously, but have not gotten past that point. So I think that we actually have not gotten to that, because we certainly don't have any threats that we have done anything with yet. So, oops. Oh, wow. Okay, so our stats are Grace is unmatched. Surely Yoon, who is one of our gods, guides your hand. I think we got that when we ran after Grumpet earlier, so that's cool. We are well mannered. We are of average resolve and wisdom, and feeble of might. We are competent artisan, burglar, and mariner. I'm trying to see if any of this has changed. It does not seem to have changed. All right. We do have a stat or a stats tab now called Renown and Relationships. One for inventory and one for codex. I don't know how spoilery this section is likely to be. I don't know if they show you anything about characters you haven't met yet, because sometimes they do. It's sort of Choice of Games authors have a great deal of flexibility in how they organize their stat screens, and some people choose. Let's be diplomatic. Some people choose to hide things that you don't know yet, and some maybe give you a little bit of forewarning of things. So that I will leave that up to you guys. Actually, do you want to look at these other stat tabs and risk possibly getting some spoilers, or should we not? It may be important for future choices, or it may spoil us dramatically for things that we don't know yet. So I don't know. Well, let's see. I think I can add my chat to the stream. Okay, yeah. Sighted people should now be able to see what people are chatting now. That's cool. Okay, the blind GM says I would risk it, or I'd risk it, for looking at the inventory, or the different tabs here. That's fair. Let's see who else is in this chat. We have Commander Root is the only... is that an Artemis Fowl reference? That's great. I haven't read Artemis Fowl in like 10 years. Those books are very good. That's so good. Then there's Bloodluster, Lyrics, Skinny Seahorse. Yeah, do anybody else have any thoughts on whether we want to risk spoilers here? Speak now or forever hold your peace. I don't know. These might be bots. I don't actually know how Twitch streams work as far as bots go either. Okay, well, no one has yelled no in caps lock and in spoiler fear yet, so I guess we are going to risk it. Where should we start here? I don't want to see. Let's see. Let's switch to Renown and Relationships first. All right. That's sort of depressing. You have not yet distinguished yourself as a great warrior, sage, holy person, or trickster. Well, okay. So progress. I mean, we have a ways to go, I guess, but it's early days. I'm very intrigued. I didn't actually realize you could be a trickster in this game. I don't know that this character is cut out for it, but maybe. We'll see. That could be very interesting. We are well regarded in town. Okay, well, I think I had said that I didn't think this character was very popular. Apparently they are well regarded. Maybe it's like no one like dislikes you, but nobody really takes an interest either, maybe? I don't know. And that is my under desk elliptical that is got stuck there. I like to move while I'm doing this, but oh well. And okay, good. There is no spoilers here. Let's see. There's stat descriptions and advice. Let's see what this is. Oh man, there's a lot here. Okay. So there's attribute descriptions, profession descriptions, and advice. So we'll start looking at the attribute descriptions first. Okay. Oh, I see. Okay. So, bearing, with which we are well mannered right now, is used for charisma, persuasion, coercion, intimidation. I need to raise that skill. I didn't realize that was. Okay. That's why this is here then. Grace is for balance, leaping, throwing, shooting, dodging. Our grace is renowned, so we are very good at. We'd be a very good dancer, I guess. And also shooting people. Can we dance and shoot people? That sounds fun. Might is brawling. we're very feeble, so we're not very good at these things. Brawling, close combat, fighting, pushing, carrying, and climbing. All right. So I hope we don't have to climb anything. That seems important. Resolve is resisting physical and mental exhaustion. Tirelessness, willpower. Yeah, so I was right about that being willpower. Okay. Wisdom is perception, understanding, education, and insight. All right. So, so our profession descriptions. Archer is shooting, throwing, and aim. Artisan is repairing, building, and understanding machines and crafted objects, which is we are very good at that. Athlete is climbing, jumping, and swimming. I thought we were pretty good at that, but then climbing is under feeble, which we're bad at. So which stat does it use for? I don't know. We'll find out. Burglar, which we are good at, is opening locks, disarming traps, and urban stealth. Diplomat, which we do not have any ranks in that I am aware of, is persuasion, charm, etiquette, and making friends. Mariner, which we do have, is controlling rowed and sailed vessels. Naturalists are nature, lore, and wilderness survival and stealth in natural environments. Physicians heal injuries and diagnose illnesses, often used automatically when you're hurt. Disciple knows religious lore, and scholars know academic education in a wide variety of subjects. Warriors are good at close combat ability with a variety of weapons and martial disciplines. Well, okay, that was a lot. So let's look at advice. Oh, this is not interesting. Oh well. Let's go back to navigation. Okay, let's look at our inventory. I think the only thing I would expect us to have here is Kronpit's tools, but I don't know if we have or can use those. Oh, no, that's not the case actually. We have a blue-gray shroud decorated with a braided design of pine and rowan trees. That's pretty. A pair of good traveler's boots. A necklace with a chip of amethyst sacred to Emiria. And I do remember us making that earlier. Never mind. Gronpit's peddler trinkets. Yep. And that is all we have. All right. Now we are at the codex. Our options are people, creatures, locations, gods and cosmic forces, systems and organizations, events, objects, and back to the navigation menu. Oh my god, there's so much here. I might get bored of looking at this and go back to the game because I'm sorry. That's just I don't know. I can't focus on that very long. What do I win? Why do I win? I don't know what I win. I wish there was a way to have this chat auto read, but I don't think there is. Okay, let's see people. Oh my goodness, there's a lot. Okay, so there's a lot of lore here. Maybe what we'll do for this is take these kind of one or two at a time and look at them interspersed through other things. Let's look at the Golden Archer because they are the other non-gendered or bi-gendered NPC. So, the Golden Archer is a shrouded and mysterious figure without name or gender. I don't know if that's true. They probably just did not disclose that, but okay. The Golden Archer aided the two warrior kings against Haritha in the Behemoth War. No conventional account tells of them, but your parents both insisted they were there. They vanished sometimes after the war, fearing the Golden Archer. Oh, I see. Your parents both insisted they were there. They vanished sometime after the war. Fearing the Golden Archer was a dark philosopher, or worse, a god, your parents swore you to silence about their intervention in the war. Yikes. So they might actually be a god. We don't know. Interesting. All right. Let's look at a little bit about the gods. I think that's going to be important soon. Okay, so the gods appeared in the world near the same time the Beyonders, through malice or accident, shattered it. I don't think we know. I assume the Beyonders are the predecessor of even the Impossible Empire, maybe? But we do not. I have not seen that term before. No, so interesting. Some wanted to repair the world that remained, while others sought only to escape and join the Beyonders, even if that destroyed the damaged world. The former, furious at their treacherous brethren, imprisoned them in their prison. Demeterian. The so-called dark gods labor to maintain the Orichalcum, a vast machine the heavenly gods constructed to sustain the world. Led by Achaman, the god of destruction, the dark gods have repeatedly attempted... Okay, so Achaman was a dark god, and they released him from the prison just long enough to, destroy everything else? That seems like a weird tactical plan, but alright, that seems very prone to error. Also, why would you use your dark power to destroy that and not, more... I don't know. The dark gods have repeatedly attempted to escape the Immaterion without success. The heavenly gods Amiria, Amri, Catamus, who is called Kesh, Mithi, or Mirak, Phi, or Firum, Yun, or Jan. The names in parentheses are used in the western desert. The dark gods Achaman, Kethus, Parathai, Pel, Lyson. Oh my goodness. Alright, that's a lot. We could learn about the heavenly gods, the dark gods, or the Beyonders. Let's find out what the Beyonders are. Okay, wow. Beyonders. The context that would allow humans or the visitor or servitor races to understand the Beyonders was lost with the breaking of the world. The Beyonders were, and presumably still are, the creatures that dwell beyond the world. They contacted humanity when the world was still whole and created the visitor races to communicate with humans. Humanity in turn created the emissary beasts to reach out to the Beyonders. But when humanity tried to reach the Beyonders realm, something went wrong and the world was nearly destroyed. Whether the Beyonders still watch the world that remains is unknown. The visitor races deny any continued contact with their creators, and the emissary beasts will not answer questions about them. Yikes. Okay. That's a lot of things. I think we're going to go back and play a little bit more of the actual game before diving into this lore, because I think a lot of it, it's good to know a little bit, and I think we do, but I think there's a lot of this that will make more sense maybe with the context of the game. If there's any particular section that you want me to read, I'm happy to do so. Otherwise, I think we'll just go back to the game. Alternatively, since we are at the end of the first chapter, we could stop here and or switch games. So I am incredibly bad at remembering all of this lore, so I will definitely have to either look at this codex or ask people if somebody else remembers what these things are, because I will not. And I will probably make very dumb choices because I just don't remember things. So. Okay, you no thoughts on whether we continue or do something else or continue to read this codex? It's 5:14. I have stuff to do at like 7, so I still have a bit of time. I do. This is a good stopping point, though. So, or at least a good possible switching games place. The blind GM says I'm good either way. Okay. Well, one of my other Twitter followers mentioned wanting to do Evertree Inn, which is an open world fantasy mystery game, which I'm perfectly fine with doing. So if they're available, we'll switch games. Otherwise, we'll keep going. So I reached out to them really quick, and because they're available basically now and are not available other times. So we'll see if they are interested in switching games. I think that'll be fun. Oh, let me find my YouTube channel link so people can follow that while I'm thinking about it, because otherwise I will forget. Twitter. What does that notification say? Oh, that's not the person I was hoping to get an answer from, so okay. Let's find my channel stream thing. Yeah, well, while we are just chilling here, I know you do some projects, Blind GM. Are there any things you want to pitch or tell people to buy or look at, or I don't know if you are doing any public games at the moment or anything like that. You're welcome to shill here for all the good it will do you. Let's see. Where do I find my channel. Sorry. I will get back to this soon. I should take my Twitch people to Clock at some point. Yeah, I mean, Clock is a multi-user dungeon, which is a multiplayer MUD. It's sort of fantasy Gaslamp inspired. It is still technically, I think, an open beta, or is it alpha or beta? I'm pretty sure it's open beta now. But that's clok.contrium.net:4000. It's a very fun game. I play a couple of different characters there. I play a druid named O'Leary and a rook named Morgania. Yeah, it's a cool game. If you're looking for something to play, you should check it out. I'm looking for my channel's link thing. Okay, so our other person is interested in doing a retreat in. So what I'm gonna do then is log off and wait about 5 minutes and then log back on, so that I want to have different videos for these things so that I can put them in the proper playlists on YouTube, because I don't want to have them mixed. So that'll give everybody time to come back in, and in this one we will be doing audience participation. So instead of me picking the choices, you guys will pick the choices. You can try to solve this mystery. You can do roleplay instead. It will hopefully be fun. So we're gonna go down and then come back up. So yeah, thank you for finishing off this chapter. I look forward to doing more of it, and see you guys soon.